got harassed at Target. This guy, I should have taken out my camera sooner, but you don't like to think that, everything's done deliberately. But this guy was in line harassing people. I know it's hot, but this is what I deal with constantly. So he's in line berating people, waiting in line. He wants to make one line for everyone, and self-checkout is 10 items or under. So I was looking for a cashier, and right away he started harassing me. And they're all decked out in their pride stuff. So, as someone who is repeatedly harassed at the YWCA, and I'm certainly not, anti any of this. I don't participate in these kind of isms, but frankly, it's getting a little tiring to go anywhere and having groups of them be abusive or harassing. It seems to me you all ought to concentrate on changing rights and different things rather than attacking people that are not anti anyone, because I've certainly suffered my share of harassment, bullying, and abuse just for living my life. So needless to say, my shopping experience was interrupted by these people. And they do it deliberately. He waited out in the parking lot with a group of them with pride flags all over the car, yelling and calling me a Karen. So this is what you deal with when you talk about protecting children. And I wasn't going to take out my camera. People say, well, why don't you film? Why don't you show the people? Because it's not really worth it. Because I know where it's coming from. This isn't a small place. Albany, New York is in a big place. Amsterdam isn't. They get their gang of thugs to follow me around, say things. They certainly did it at the Y everywhere I went. It certainly was with different jobs when I came to Albany. And they've been at it for a long time. And certainly they have friends that are cops. So certainly if you get involved with cops, which I never wanted to be, they lie. They've been lying for a long time. So I'll make a quick video. It's very hot, so of course people are on edge, which you have to account for. But just be safe out there. Anytime you tell your own story, these people have been so abusive. Certainly when I was 14, growing up in Fort Johnson, and here I'm almost a 6-year-old woman, and I find out my ex-husband's cousin, who was alcoholic, was married to a cop. I'm certain, these people were so abusive to me when I was 14 years old in the warming shed. They were abusive when I went to college. They all hung out at the Annex. It was the local popular bar. They all were doing coke and dealing drugs, but they want to accuse everybody else. So we can get into more of this. I certainly don't like talking about people's drug use because I don't think it's appropriate. I certainly didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. But they all made up a bunch of horrible lies about me. Certainly when I was married, I only went out with my husband, who drank. The Flanagans drank. His cousin was alcoholic. These guys used to have these big parties. They all were into coke. Around this time, when I was 14, my ex-husband had a violent felony. They all hung out at the Annex, but they continue to want to rewrite history. And certainly now that they're all in their 70s, and certainly we know that children can't give consent. There was ongoing stuff with these people in Fort Johnson. My ex-husband used to go snow machine riding with all of them. My half family, my half brothers were involved with these people. They're at the Y. My cousin, her brother, she was carrying on an inappropriate relationship with him. He was abusive. These people were alcoholic. He was a heroin addict. I could go on, but it just gets immature and childish after a while. And certainly when you find out some of these people were police officers. Be safe out there, guys.